Good evening, good evening. I am Yaz.
I'm KJ, but after we was given strict instructions that we're not going to state the time of day or evening. But anyway, it's cool. Welcome.
Totally forgot. We are here in the building.
Look, man, it's really good to be here. It's good, as always. We have inspiring people. We're back for Lounge Academics once again.
Whoop, whoop.
You know what to do. Hit the notification bell. You need
Hit
to
it now.
subscribe if you hadn't, so we can bring up those followers as well. A lot of people are watching, but they're not hitting the subscription, so you need to hit the subscription button, okay? So we can inform you of future shows. Okay.
Yes.
So
it's very hot in here, right?
it is hot. Your forehead's just listening, boy.
But anyway, we have wonderful Marvin in the building.
Yes, make some noise, Marvin! Yes, Marvin's here. How you doing, bro?
Look at the beard, though.
I'm good, thank you very much, KJ.
Good, bro. Good
to see you both.
Yeah, man, it's good
Been
to
a
be
while.
seen. Yeah, it has. It's been a hot minute.
Thematic.
Yeah, since our live shows, man, we
Wow,
haven't seen
that's
it.
been a long time.
It's been a hot minute still, but it's good to see you, man.
Controversy.
Yeah.
Love.
We're gonna get into that. Man's trying to expose us already from the start. You know what I mean?
It's a fact. It is what it is.
Cool it is. Last memories.
Cool.
Yes. So who is Marvin? Marvin is an entrepreneur with a passion for learning and teaching others.
I hate hearing about myself. I hate it.
I know. But you like to teach others what you have learned, right? And one of the main struggles that he had as an entrepreneur was figuring out the passion and turning it into a business idea that can become financial and successful and sustainable. Is that correct?
Indeed.
Okay. So tell us more about yourself. See, I kept it
I
nice and
hate the
short.
word entrepreneur. It's such a cliche term.
Enough people are using that, man.
That's
coach.
the problem with
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Coach,
it's
everything.
one, exactly. Coaching's another one.
Yeah.
It's one of those words that once it starts getting used, it loses its meaning. You don't even know what context it means.
Yeah.
Just because someone starts a business, they're an entrepreneur, which I guess in the technical sense is true, but no. I do SEO, which is obviously a technical term, search engine optimization, build websites, which obviously provide people with different types of stuff, whether it's courses, whether it's digital products, whatever. And
Okay.
it is an entrepreneurial adventure, but I am not seeking venture capital and building a team and throwing my last dime on it and just so.
Okay. So building sites for people, basically.
I don't build for people though. I build my own portfolio of sites. So
Okay.
the way to look at it is if I'm a web developer or property person.
Okay.
I build websites. I have a couple at the moment that obviously serve certain markets, and the idea there is have a portfolio of sites that make money, and then we move into other things.
Okay. So explain that a bit more for me. So to put it into context, practically, what? How is it making money, and how does that actually work? Because I know you use the analogy of a property developer, but how does that work in practice?
I'll give an example of two of them. One I have just sells online courses.
That's big.
Yeah,
Online's big.
and there's
Courses,
many different sectors. I do the health and social care sector at this point, but there's so many
Okay, because you had like a background in social work, right?
I did.
Yeah.
But that's not the reason why that I chose that though. I kind of stumbled into that. I was
Okay.
working in a training company before, and they were just selling different courses and trainings. And I saw the opportunity. Like when I was working on their website, I used to just see the sales coming in, and I'm just like, mate, I can do this for myself. Yeah. So there's that one, and then I have another one that's in the beard grooming industry.
Yeah. I see the beard gang thing going, and I see that. man. I see that.
So this is more about.
Beard. No joke.
I've got hair on my head.
It's on her head,
Yeah,
it's on her head. That's
Yeah,
her
it's all
crown.
on my
That's her crown. We keep our crown here, she keeps hers.
That's
there.
right.
But so that's just advice about obviously beard grooming and products like oil and combs and washes and stuff like that. Kind of similar to what he used to do at the top here, but so that's in there, and that's through like affiliate sales. Obviously, I don't make the product myself.
Okay.
I source them from wherever people are selling them, and then I am kind of like routing it.
So broker, basic.
Not broker, because I guess that's one way of looking at it. But affiliate is just more like, the links are tracked and then they're attributed.
Exactly,
to
yeah.
Yeah. So there's that. Obviously, there's ad revenues, and at some point I probably will create my own guides and stuff on it as well. So
Okay.
that's the whole game, and then the whole game is to play Monopoly. You get 2, 3, 4 of those, and keep it moving.
You make money while you're sleeping. So how
That's
you
what
find
we were
this?
about. While we was talking yesterday, the ching ching.
Was we
coming
talking
in.
yesterday? Oh yeah,
Do you
we
remember
was,
when I
innit?
got distracted and you said I can't multitask?
Men can't multitask. You can't. Seriously, you can't.
Of course we can.
No.
No,
That's
don't
a fact,
own
you
that.
know.
Alright,
Don't
when
own
you're
that.
when,
Don't own that.
when you're
Of
on
course
that,
you can multitask.
you know why you can't? Because how does a woman always notice that you're doing something else? What are you up to? What are you doing? Oh yeah, I'm kind of
Because
doing
women
two
are
things.
so,
Because you
you
get
know,
distracted.
they don't know
No,
what else
because
to
it's
do,
bait.
that's why.
It's
Do you
obvious.
know?
It's
Do you
bait.
know? Do you know
It's bait.
multitask actually is a myth?
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
tell me
It's
more
actually
about
just
this.
task switching. Yeah. So we just alternate between 1 and 2 things. Multitasking, the brain can't.
He's sitting there smiling, skinning
Because
teeth.
it's good. It's good to see a 2 and a back and a forth for once
Okay.
between yourself and one of the guests. It's just nice.
But we have the illusion of multitasking. But
Yeah,
really,
I
the
hear
brain's just switching between tasks.
Okay.
And the more demanding the tasks are, then that's when our focus gets more fragmented.
But it's very rude if you're on the phone talking to someone and you're doing something and they're like, hello. Did you
Now, let
hear
me
what I
pull out my rude list for you about everything you've done. Yeah.
said? Anyway, going back to the beard grooming and stuff. What is that all about? Like, why are the men getting so much into
I
this
don't
beard
know.
grooming?
I
the
don't know.
O's and I mean, it looks good, by the way.
I don't
but
know. That
are
was
you making
never,
money?
That was never my motivation. It was never a trend thing. Just like even when I grew the locks back then, that was never a trend thing. Started out of laziness. I realized, wow, I've never seen myself with this before. I kind of like it, and then just go with it.
Who started off your locks, Marvin? By the way.
Like I said, I couldn't bother to go to the barbers, and then one day it was just like, oh, who started the locks? Okay, yeah.
Wow, all wanted to have little references. Wow.
Yazoo Mai, innit? The Yazoo Mai.
Little connection
sorry, I just
outside,
had
you
to
know,
bring
just
that
wanted
in.
to have that dropped in, yeah. What little
To
plug.
bring that in, but
Little
anyway,
plug.
sorry,
Styling.
go back
Yeah,
to
no,
it.
yeah, she did. She done my locks. Kind of encouraged it really because I was just leaving it as an afro,
Okay.
and then she started with the camera. I didn't like the camera, young boy style,
Yeah.
and then had the twists, and then it's like, I think the locks will suit you, you know. So I tried it, had it for about a year, and cut it off.
Okay. Cool. So yeah. So in terms of the grooming, so
Yeah.
you've moved into the grooming products now, and
Yeah.
like beard grooming in particular. It seems like you got a number of different little revenues that you get in there in terms of income. Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct.
In relation to, because that's how it's about. For people that don't recognize, if you don't know, you need to have those multiple streams of income. Very important. Yeah, very important to help you out.
Yes.
So it's good that you're starting that. So at the moment, which one's popping for you? What would you say is the thing that gives you your most in terms of income?
The courses.
Okay, so it's the
Because-
online,
Because with courses, people know they need something. It's more of a necessity for them, professional development, or they want to advance somewhere, so they see the value more in it. The beard one's more of a kind of hobby, do it on the side. People buy things, but it's easier to probably get someone to buy a course than to buy some, I don't know, grooming products that they, even though it's in terms of like the pricing, but people see more of a need when they buy education. So
Okay.
that's the biggest one.
Okay.
And the price markup is
And
bigger.
Health
But how-
and social care is quite big at the moment,
Yeah,
though,
it
isn't it?
is. I mean, how does that work in terms of, so what happens in terms of, if you talk us through the process, how does that actually work in terms of doing this online course thing, and how does that work from start development to finish?
Okay, so start with myself, and you say, right, obviously you want to build a site, yeah, and I want to be into a market where there's money, opportunity, that there's less competition. I think I can compete here. I can come in here. I haven't got big buckets of money to come in. I can come in here. I can rank in the search engines and be found. And if I be found, then obviously people are gonna to buy. So you start with a keyword research, which is the phrases that people type in
Okay.
to the search engines. When you start seeing the data behind who's searching for what, how many is searching, and what the competition for those terms are, you choose a term that you say, all right, okay, this is a low competition, kind of low hanging fruit, but enough there for you that if you can get there, then you can obviously profit from it. Then
Okay.
you have to think about, all right, how am I going to monetize this traffic once it comes? So obviously in this case it's just direct sales of courses, but that could be one course, it can be bundles, and I'm doing the course. I don't create the courses, it's resale, right? So I've bought them already and I resell them, but I could create them myself if I wanted to, or get someone like you to do. You work in that field, whatever, yeah, or get someone else who does. And then I could do advertising, but I don't want to because that takes people away from what you're offering.
Okay.
So that's so once you've targeted the keywords, you see that the competition for it is something that you can compete with. Then it's obviously then about creating a site and creating content that matches those keywords.
Okay, so I guess at the core of it is the search engine optimization. Really, that's what's key, which is a key part of that process.
Indeed.
I guess. Okay.
And the key part of the search engine optimization is the keyword research.
Okay.
If you can identify the search terms, and not just search terms, because you don't want ones that are over competitive or you got big brands that are in there. You want ones that they call the long tail, that you go in. And the small people can rank relatively quickly and then build their traffic up over time.
Okay, I see. Makes sense. Okay, I hear that. So that's one aspect of what you do. But I want to get into this because originally, I got to be honest, yeah. My guy, you see Marvin, right? He dropped in his bio. He changed the bio about 6 times before he got
It's
to
a bit
us.
of exaggeration,
He wanted to avoid.
but yeah.
He wanted to avoid. It was an exaggeration. It's the truth.
6 times.
Yeah, he wanted to avoid the use of the word coach, and it's funny because our line of questioning.
Oh yeah.
Was very much because I would say to some extent, in order to support people, particularly to look at search engine optimization or trying to thrive in the online market of online courses and stuff, I guess there needs to be a level of coaching. So would you identify as being a coach? What's the issue with the word coach?
I used to be a coach. I used to be a life coach. I don't have an issue with the word coach. It's just that
Everybody's doing it.
anyone can call themselves a coach. And
True.
and the way I see coaching is about transformation,
Okay.
Which is probably a good segue into the naked stuff at some point. But coaching's about transformation. It's a developmental tool. Most of the times now, people are coaching. It's just like chats. It's just conversations. Most people who coach on things they haven't had success in themselves, right? So this is the issue I have with it. You got a lot of charlatans because there's a low barrier to entry.
Okay, so do you feel that in order to be able to coach in something, you got to at least be qualified to some extent? And what merits qualifications there's in that area?
That's a good question. I don't think you ideally you should have success in the area that you coach. That's the ideal. I don't think there's different ways you can get experience. You can learn from other people's mistakes. You could be quite studious and whatnot. I don't think it's critical, but from a credibility point of view, I think so. Yeah.
Okay, so you at least got to have some knowledge or some expertise in the area of what?
The skill of coaching.
Oh, the skill itself of coaching, as
so.
Opposed to maybe the subject matter that you coach in.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's more important in the technique of coaching.
Skill, so good questions, listening, being able to get people to open up and obviously share things that they may not have even shared and help them get over their blocks, because most people, they know what they need to do. Yeah, when we got problems, we generally know. We might be stuck in some ways and we can't see certain things, but generally speaking, people know what they need to do. They need support in getting there.
They need the support. Yeah.
The thing is though, because I agree with you, but the issue I've got is this whole coaching thing.
Everybody's a coach.
We're dovetailing, man. We're skipping hand in hand at the moment. If you can bear with the metaphor, we're in agreement because this whole coaching thing, there's too many people out here claiming to be a coaching. There's relationship coaches, there's I can fix your life coaches, there's I can get you off drugs and get you married coaches. There's so many different kind of it's the truth. There's so many people that specialize in different things, and it's quite scary because another thing that I'm seeing as well is that a lot of people are coaches but they're doing actually counselling under the guise of coaching, which it just scares me because you're dealing with like we heard about what happened to Jeremy Kyle, where he's got his TV show, he's on there, and my guy committed suicide after he took this lie detector test, right? And as a result of that, he went and topped himself, and now the long term of it is the show's been shut down, it's been cancelled because there weren't really any aftercare as a result of that, and that's what kind of worries me in terms of the coaching industry. Like you said, a lot of people can be coaches.
You're absolutely right. Many people who go into the coaching are people, in my observation anyway, they're people who are experiencing their own pain.
Of course, definitely.
So they haven't healed their issue. So their way is it's interesting. It's like,
well, you must have saw our last.
Because we was having that conversation the last time.
I went mad. That's when I went crazy. But yeah, I'll let you go.
No, I'll need to. I want to hear your take on that as well. Yeah, but like they're their pain, so they're ultimately projecting, but they take the other side and they feel they can be healed through the process of helping someone else. But in truth, they're not in a position to. But they feel like it feels right because they identify with the problem and the struggle. So they think, okay, maybe this is what I'm supposed to do because I can empathize. You know, who better to help you with a problem than someone who's going through it?
Yeah.
But you haven't really solved it, and you should be a couple of steps ahead of the person that you're helping.
I mean, to be honest with you, Marv, I think you're being very kind.
I'm being
and
kind.
to be honest, I think they're crap.
They are crap.
There's a lot of people
Not
out
all,
there
but most of them.
that are coming out here, and I feel, like you said, they've gone through a lot. Doesn't necessarily qualify you to be the best person to be able to help someone else who's had a similar situation. But I feel people just relive their own hurt and wounds or whatever through that person's life. And so in a way, there's a bit of counter transference, a little bit of projection that goes on, you know, into other people's life.
Let me ask you a question. Why do you think people are attracted to it?
What, to coaching? Because I think naturally they're trying to heal themselves.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel there is a natural...
Definitely.
Because it's like, why do... Yeah, I might go on my rant again. It's like, why do people become social workers? Why do people become
police officers
police
or youth
officers?
workers?
Like a lot... The police is another big one for
Knife
me,
crimes.
right?
And
A
all
lot
that,
of them
yeah,
want to
yeah.
turn... Because a lot of these guys that end up being police officers were bullied up and beaten up in... There's correlations to some of it where... Dad wasn't around. They were the child that got picked on with their siblings and whatever. So there's something they need to prove. So I feel that's why we have these cases of abuse of power, and why people go out and throw around and abuse their authority, right? So I think in different ways people are drawn to it because in a way they want to pick up on something they never had in themselves. So they're compensating through another means. I mean, that's my opinion.
No, I can relate to that.
No, for sure. I mean, would it
yeah.
be wise then? I mean, because on some level, it's natural to be attracted to something that you identify with. You know, if you've gone through a problem and you see others, you may feel passionate about that problem. But then maybe this low barrier entry, like you should, because people have supervision if they do this stuff, right? Just to make sure that you're clearing.
They should.
People who are trained, yeah. But then maybe even before, I think I read something in The Guardian years ago about shrinks, basically. And basically, before they become shrinks, they should have supervision.
They should be constantly in supervision.
Constant, to see if they are actually good for their work.
Therapist should be in therapy constantly.
Same with the counsellors and stuff,
Yeah, but I agree with you, man. People go into, and they are doing counselling under coaching guises.
Yeah. And that's what worries me. And then they take their crap, and when I say their crap, meaning stuff they haven't dealt with, and they then project it and projectile vomit onto other people. And I've got a big... You're laughing I don't like that. And I know people will come for me about this, but I don't really care. But this is who I am. And people who know me know this is my opinion, because people are going out there and I feel they're being very irresponsible and reckless with their stuff. And the thing is, I get what you're saying about having a sense of pain and being attracted, and it appeals to you to see and help someone else who maybe you could relate to. But then you got to be in check with yourself. Have I dealt with this situation? Am I healed from this situation?
Preach!
Do you understand what I'm saying? But have
Go
I,
to church.
Have I? Do you know what I'm saying? How do you know you've healed?
And that's about becoming. Are we getting to becoming naked?
So this is my point now.
There was a nice preamble.
People don't realize they don't know themselves. So this is the blind spot. Is that the illusion is they do. They are sure that what they're saying is what they want, but they don't have the awareness to know that actually they haven't got over their stuff. They don't know where their blind spots are, and so they go in, and then it just becomes, and they're not honest.
So I guess then around the getting naked, because this is another term that I'm hearing being used a lot. Like,
I came out of this term years ago.
You did.
Way before it became like vogue.
I
got in registration like 2000 and stuff.
And there's a lot, and I hear you, and I think it's picking up traction. There's traction with that term, because I'm hearing a lot of people talking about being naked, speaking my truth, speaking all this stuff. But I guess
it's a bit more deeper than that.
I was just about to say for yourself, that was, you just preempted what I was gonna ask. What, for the context of what you're doing, what does being naked mean in your terms?
It's becoming rather than being. So this idea of becoming is there's a constant process and an evolution, And at its essence, I guess it's more about the realization of oneself, yeah, and the realization of things as they are, as opposed to how we want them to be. For me, there's a lot of veils in society, a lot of veils that we adopt as people,
Yep.
and when we're interacting with others, and even when we're dealing with ourselves, we tell ourselves the most bull crap, yeah. And we don't even know. I mean, one of the key things is like self-deception. I always say to people, we're excellent at deceiving ourselves, and people never understand what I mean. It's like, that's the point, because it wouldn't be deception if you was aware of it. But if you accept that you are good, you begin to see the ways that we deceive ourselves. Yeah. And
Elaborate. Give me, yeah. So,
Okay.
if you was to contextualize that, or put a practical example to that.
So like one, and we all do this, or certainly have done it. If we experience a problem, our first port of call is to look outside. Like, the problem was out here. We never think it was
We
in
don't
here.
own it.
We
Okay.
don't realize that we made that choice. Yeah. The reason why something happened was out here. That's the first fallacy. The reason why something happened because we chose to do something. Yeah. But we may not be aware of our choices. That's another one. I don't know if I had a conversation with you or someone else, but it's like, so one, we have the illusion that we're making choices, and two, that's like, we're not really aware of the choices we're making. We're just making them. And then we don't like, and then later on it's like, we accept the choices that were good. Yeah, I made that choice, and we
But
made
the bad
bad
ones.
choices. So we're just deceiving ourselves time and time again. And also, like, even
I
if
think
you
my
look,
cameraman needs to hear this. Like, he really needs, because he's made some bad choices
sorry,
in his
what
life.
was
No, we're talking
Stop
about. You
it.
see, you're not even
Stop
tuned in.
it.
So we're talking about
You've made bad
obviously
choices.
making bad choices, and then how we externalize basically everything. We don't take responsibility, I guess, in essence, for maybe some of the bad choices that we make. We blame other people.
But
Just
ain't that-
saying.
Well,
Ain't that also-
I try not to do that.
You
I'm
try not to
trying
do that.
to,
Okay, why are you letting him hot you up? Why?
do you even accept that? Like, even
Out of order, he's out of
Oh,
order.
yeah, everyone's
Oh,
like even the idea of, okay,
I've been on the show before.
making a decision.
Having a moment here.
We think we're making a decision. Yeah? You guys have lost me, you know.
Yeah, that's cool.
No,
It's
it's
because
so
of
private
that, that's
banter.
why.
me.
Private banter.
Trouble,
Yeah.
trouble,
What was that? You
boy.
were saying something.
Even the idea of, like, if you ask
Making
people,
bad decisions. Yeah.
yeah, but if you ask people about their decisions, they think they're making them. We think we're making them, when in truth, the decisions are kind of pre-made most of the time. Like,
That is true, actually.
I mean, it's even been proven in like scans where they hook people up to the
Yeah,
scans,
yeah.
and the brain center where the
Yeah,
decisions are made.
neurons and-
Yeah,
But that ain't. But that can't that be put down to what's your environment and what's been said
well,
to
that's
you
one
as
thing.
well.
Okay,
because
that's
then
that,
you
that's one thing.
internalize
That's
that.
one thing.
Yeah.
But if the region in the brain that is responsible for decision making lights up
Hmm.
before you are conscious of the choice that you are now going to make. So if I put 3 things here for you,
Mm-hmm.
Alright.
they could see what one you're going to choose before you actually say, "Oh, I choose that."
Okay.
Right.
So that's really your subconscious.
Right. And obviously, we're not in control of the thoughts that go through our minds. We don't choose the thoughts that just pass through our consciousness.
true.
We choose whether we respond to them. But so anyway, so these are ways we begin to deceive ourselves, and then we can just play it in any area, in relationships, in our families, in our careers,
Okay.
and to ourselves.
So having that knowledge, how does that work for you? How has that worked in
yes.
your advantage for you? So this hyper vigilance, this hyper awareness of oneself to some extent, I guess, how's that worked for you then personally?
It's made me more honest with myself. It makes me
Okay.
accept reality. I don't get bunged down, and I have my rants just like you,
Yeah.
but
Don't you just?
I don't take it personal in terms of. I mean, that's in many ways I understand other people better because
Okay.
they're the same as me essentially. Yeah, they're afflicted by the same constraints in terms of, how aware what is your level of awareness. So how it's helped me, it makes me understand myself better, the choices, why I've made choices in the past, why I'm gonna make choices in the future.
I
Okay.
like that.
Yeah. And it just helps me get rid of the bullshit.
Okay.
Like when you're dealing with people, like even just like social interactions, small talk,
Toxic.
just bullshit.
Okay.
We all do it, yeah, because it's just society. We're just conditioned that way. But even being aware of that, it's just all let's just get down to the brass conversation of what we're talking about. That way we can get to know each other at a real level as opposed to talking about the
So
way.
do you feel you're more acutely aware of that then? So you're aware of the social norms and what's expected in society, but for example, like someone's coming to make small talk with you, would you be like, all right, you know, straight to the cut to the chase, this is what you're looking, or whatever, let's get to, would you be as, would you be as open as that and explicit in saying, look, really?
I would, but there's a level of social intelligence as well, yeah.
Okay.
Like, I have to also be aware that other people are not operating at the same level of awareness. And I'm not saying that some people are a higher level of awareness than I am. So if someone comes to do small talk, I can't expect that they're thinking what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Yeah, to them, small talk might be the big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, to me, it's not. But I also know that they might have some anxiety, but that's why they're doing small talk. All right, let's cut that. I'm good. What do you want?
Okay.
You know? Let's get down to it. Or
But is it almost seems godlike, like in a way, like you kind of know.
okay, let me give you a metaphor. Let me give you a metaphor,
I like
right?
this.
Because I know you guys, you know, are into your religious stuff, right? So if we're made from the
Bring
image,
your religion in.
yeah, no, but
Okay,
it's not a
cool.
religious debate.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
But if we're created in His image, and if the highest state of being that you can be is God-like, as opposed to being God itself, then you are going to be aware of things that others are not aware of. Yeah, but being aware of doesn't mean that you're better. You just have a different understanding. You're able to see a perspective that whether a person hasn't had the experience or whatever is yet to see. But my thing is this anyway. The whole thing of becoming naked for me is this. It's the commitment to want to know the reality about yourself and the reality of life in general. Let's use religion as a good example. We don't like to have honest conversations about things. We like to skirt around things. Yeah. So, and we have all these expectations about how we should behave and all this sort of
And
stuff.
how you're perceived, how people
But the
see
reality,
you.
let's deal with the reality of human nature, our nature. If you're a man or if you're a woman, we have totally different natures that mean two different things. So when we're in a relationship, we think, oh, well, you should do this and you should do that. And why should they do that? It's because we've been told. But the reality is, if we look at how we behave, so let's say, for example, big controversial one, let's take the idea of commitment and stuff.
Okay.
You should be committed. Says who? Is that
committed to
in
what?
human nature? Commitment requires an effort, a conscious effort.
Okay.
But that's not nature. Humans and most species just do what they do.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
They
They're
procreate.
polygamous,
Yeah, they're polygamous. Right. And human natures, the evidence is there. We do that. So it'd be better if you approach a relationship. Let's talk about that. That's our nature. You know? And just like and in terms of what we're committed to, are two different things. I was saying this to you yesterday. For
Love and in love.
No, yeah, exactly. For a woman, you're committed to your emotions. That's what you're loyal to. A man's commitment is a different type of commitment.
But can we make those generalizations?
Of course we
Because
can.
I think for
I
me,
think everyone's
That's why that's why
I
they're
think
generalizations.
We can't.
Yeah,
I
true.
think in terms of course, yeah, we can make the generalizations, of course.
They don't
But I
appeal.
guess the
Facts in
question
that.
is, does it actually? We can make the generalizations, but is there any, I guess, truth or real meaning
Yeah.
in terms of what is attributed to those generalizations? So, for example, the whole gender debate and the whole discussion around gender and stuff, I agree to some extent. I can't. There's some things people argue we're predisposed to do due to nature and biology and whatever, which to some extent is true because women are women, men are men, you know, male, female, etc. But I think the conversation around constructions of gender around that, of course, I feel this is all kind of socially constructed. I feel
Most
there
of
is
it
an
is.
extent of us being told what we are expected to do in terms of a relationship. But I think that also comes from, you know, culture as well as, you know, society and whatever. I think it's the families we're reared in, it's what we see, it's what's modelled, mum and dad, how
But
they
this is-
interact and
Yeah.
what
But
we
this
see.
is the point, yeah. So yeah, exactly. Culture, society, it's a massive part. And
Yeah.
most of it is socially constructed.
Yeah.
But that's the point. The whole point is about tearing down those constructs. and understand, is it really useful? Because a social construct isn't there to benefit everybody.
Yep.
It's to generally control the large majority.
Yep.
There are going to be outliers. There are going to be people who, step outside of that norm, and that's fine. But we tend to look at people who are separate from the norm as the ones who are kind of like wrong.
Sorry, why are you signalling? What do you want now?
I was gonna say, well, you will always have that. Let me come here so I don't ruin your ally. You will always have, no matter how, you can never have the perfect social construct.
This is not about
everybody benefits.
It's not about perfection. It's about truth and honesty. It's about accepting things as they
the
are.
reality.
Yeah.
That
Because,
constructs exist.
Yeah, exactly.
And knowing what they are.
Exactly.
And forming your own
Form your
reality
opinion.
based.
You may choose to adopt them afterwards. Because it's not that they're. It's not that
It's
they're
like a
without
Matrix
value.
moment. Blue pill, red pill. Basically.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
Exactly that. Exactly that.
Do you know any societies that has achieved any
What achieve what?
a social construct where everyone manages?
Depends.
White men, middle class, white
Yeah.
middle class men, a male patriarchal system, a system that dominates others, that benefits. You know what I mean? That benefits the mass. Well, actually, the minority and affects the majority. You know, so it's a minority of people that hold power, right? But obviously the mass majority don't have that power. So like the 10%ers who control all the world's wealth. Do you understand? Yeah, totally. They have created these constructs.
Yeah.
Right, this is marginal zeitgeist.
You can
We're going to be
go,
all up on
Matrix.
zeitgeist now.
And they're there for a
I'm having
reason.
my moment here.
Having your moment.
Yeah, enjoying this.
It goes like, so my thing is like, and as you said, look, these constructs are not without value. They have value, and they should, for some people it is, but it's let's deal with the reality first, and then we can choose to have these constructs if they're serving. Let's not start with the construct first and then we try to fit things in around it.
But isn't that very? Because like I said, I use the analogy of Matrix.
Red
blue
pill, blue pill.
red pill, blue pill. That moment with, for those of you that don't remember Matrix, where have you
awakening.
been? Like you need to come out your closet.
Yeah.
But anyway, in
I never got it.
Matrix, there's a point where basically, Lawrence Fishburne, obviously aka Morpheus, is giving them an option as, look, do you want to see where this unveils? This is going to be challenging. We never said that actually. But do you want to tumble down the rabbit hole, see how further this goes so you get the reality? Or do you want to live in your ignorance? Do you want to continue to live in the ignorance, this falsity around you? And I guess with this, that can be extremely, as you found with Neo's character initially, that can be extremely confrontational. That can be very challenging.
It's not for everybody.
Yeah.
It's not for everybody, and most people don't want to do that. That's the truth of the matter.
Because the truth hurts, right?
Of course, exactly, and like he
brings
says in
everything
Matrix,
to life,
to use that analogy, why do my eyes hurt? Because you've not used them before.
Right, yeah.
So if you start getting, it's not for everyone. Like if you,
painful.
it's like you said with the counselling thing, if you start opening up things to people and they ain't ready to deal with them, they can have some psychosis, and they
Some
can
serious impact.
end up committing suicide. But my belief is that the path is, it's about, and to bring this like some convergence, right? I had one of the main things was this one day. I remember being in the mirror after the bath,
Okay.
as you do, addressing yourself, and I actually noticed myself as I looked in the mirror. Like I noticed, I was naked in the mirror. I just noticed, and I remember saying to myself, how would I feel if I walked out as I am right now,
Naked.
just naked? And it was like, oof, I don't know. But we all know. I mean, we know what the anatomy of men and women are. There's no surprises.
Yeah.
You're not gonna, unless you're trannies, and I'm not expecting to see something that you have. We know what the anatomy is. So what would be the issue? The issue would be that we don't want to be seen in our true light. Yeah. And we don't want to, we feel exposed, vulnerable, and all that sort of stuff. That's cool. But we play those games internally. Yeah. So it's easy to look at it like, I wouldn't walk out naked because
People
all that
will
sort of
look at you,
stuff.
what people
But
gonna
we
think.
do it internally about what we choose
So
to
there's
share
that
with
conflict
people.
or whatever, or what we
What we choose to share, what I should tell you, what you should know about
Or what
me,
you should see and what you shouldn't see.
and we do it to ourselves.
So are you
I didn't
saying
really
that
like
we
that
should
person
be?
anyway.
Is there a suggestion that we should be fully naked in terms of what we show people? Then
I
in
think you
terms
should
of-
strive to it, and that's just why it's becoming. I think you should strive, and as you progress, it becomes easier you actually be more comfortable in
With
your own
yourself.
skin. Yeah, you're not worried about who's watching you. You're worried about the full expression of who you are.
But there's a time and a place for everything, right?
I don't
In
know if that's
becoming naked,
possible.
yeah.
Yeah, go on.
Good.
I don't
That's
think.
it.
Go. Sorry.
That's
yeah.
what I mean. There's a time and a place for everything. So how? you know,
That
becoming
talk
naked,
there
yeah.
not possible. Like, see,
All things are possible
but
if you allow it to be.
the aim
You can
isn't.
break those rules.
There are some things we do is not because it's possible, but it's what it makes of you in pursuit of it. Yeah. So this is not a utopia where I think there's gonna be a day where everything's gonna be laid bare and you're just gonna know. No. But it's just a case of
Imagine that.
the idea is you're striving to just get the 5%
Okay,
gain.
yeah. So that continual evolution,
Evolution,
evolving
this is
and
what I'm
process,
saying.
and
Slowly,
living in your
snippets,
process
yeah.
and
Absolutely.
developing,
And that's why it's
forever
becoming
pursuit of,
and not being.
and not being in sense of pursuit of an end goal or end
Okay.
Process.
The
It's
a
process, yeah,
process,
at
yeah.
the end of the process. It's a
Yeah.
constant dialogue with self.
With self.
Because what you feel
yeah.
today, you might not feel tomorrow, right?
Exactly.
You're going to be changing.
You may
grow,
change. You may be, and that's nothing. We identify with our feelings, with our thoughts, and we are neither of those things.
Of course.
Yeah.
But so that's why it is a constant process. And at some point, that realization will hopefully hit us and say, "Oh, actually, you know what? I don't need to respond to that, or I don't need to entertain that thought, or I don't need to." So it starts with self, and if obviously you can't do it yourself, how can you expect to do it with others?
Yeah,
It's
of
true.
course.
You know?
That means all of us can be coaches then. Everyone can be a coach.
Self-coaching.
Self-coaching and to coach others through the stuff that you've been coached yourself through.
Some people
if
just
they're going through
some
that
people-
same thing.
A lot of these coaches just focus on themselves. I see them with their morning motivational videos. They're quoting
they do.
memes,
And then
it's just
tutus,
like-
they're doing something else. They're
Yeah.
not reflecting on what
Yeah,
they've just
or-
said today. They're acting another way tomorrow. And you're
Your
like,
psychology is
well,
all messed up.
But how do we know that? We don't live
I
with
see
them
it.
though.
No, but you see it on social media. Like you might be motivated today and say, "Yes, ladies, I'm this, I'm that." Then tomorrow you're like, "Man's a dickhead," or da 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 da, and you're just cussing
But even
somebody. And you're
this-
like,
But
"But
isn't
hold
that
on
the
a minute."
evolution of process? Isn't
but-
that?
I guess it is, but then at the
even
same
this-
time you're a coach. So
even-
again, being
right.
naked, and that's why I said there's certain things you can do and you can't do. If you're saying I am a motivational speaker or a coach, then you have to be able to act a certain way. You can't say one thing today, then tomorrow be just cussing. Unless you're going to be saying, you know
No,
what,
you can
yesterday
cuss
I had
if
a bad
that's your-
day.
If that's your authentic spin,
Yeah,
that's your
exactly. I was
space.
about to say.
But here's what I'm gonna
Yeah.
say. Here's what I'm gonna say. Coach is coach, so you shouldn't be out there preaching.
Right.
You should be coaching.
Exactly.
That's right.
and done.
It's about
And
Exactly. You can't
coaches,
mix it.
when you're out there giving your message,
Yeah.
coaching is not about giving messages to people and instructions. It's about helping people unlock their potential,
True, yeah,
help people see
true.
their blind spots. So I wouldn't mind if people come on their soapbox and they say, and they're asking questions, provocative questions that get people
Yeah, it
to
doesn't
think.
happen.
Thinking.
Doesn't happen.
Yeah.
You're
It
just
doesn't.
You're just regurgitating a quote that you read somewhere. Do you know what I mean?
But
And
this is the interesting thing
I
because
shall
something
rise.
I've picked up on. So something that I've picked up on recently in what I've seen in terms of coaches and these so-called coaches is particularly those that are these Instagram influencers, this influencer buzz term, where people got 1 billion followers and whatever on social
they pay
channels,
for on
right?
Fiverr and
that
that.
they've or whatever, right? And they get all these followers, but yet they're speaking and they're coaching. I've noticed that they've started to don this title of coach, and I've realised it's because there's no other space to actually occupy it.
not
There's
regulated.
no other. But in a sense that to define what they're doing, you may hear people talk about the motivational speaker, but the coach,
they are almost synonymous. Almost.
they're not. Do you get what I'm saying? It doesn't. They can't occupy a physical space. So the coach thing is the thing that I've seen that they've drawn towards, or that they more. And I've seen that a lot, particularly people that have been on other platforms. I won't mention their names, but very popular platforms with panel discussions and stuff, where people, as a result of that, are now proclaiming to be coaches because they've got a lot of heat or a lot of attention, and now they have an audience, and they're doing the speak and spiel that you're talking about. But I'm like, are you really a coach? If we got down and we looked at regulations, if we looked at credibility, qualifications, and all these things, I think it would be missing.
But
in
you
my
called
opinion.
them what they really are, and that's what they are. They're influencers,
Okay.
and they are influencing people, just not in the right way
Yeah.
that people should be. You know, they're not influencing
Could be
people to
positive
make
or
the
negative,
changes.
yeah.
their whole model thrives on people being dependent on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, when actually coaches should be making people independent of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a sham. But we've seen many industries like that. The internet marketing was a similar
Okay.
one. The entrepreneur thing. Everyone's an entrepreneur.
Exactly.
And all these gimmicks, this boss babe, boss this, boss
Yeah.
that. It's just like,
You dissing the female bosses.
I'm not dissing I'm just dissing. I'm just like,
Female boss.
when you
Don't
latch
start that.
when you latch onto these things, it says to me
Gives you
that you're not
power.
really about it. Like, you should be about the craft of what you're doing as opposed to this label. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a boss. Who cares?
Yeah, it validates you.
Yeah,
It
why
gives
do
you
you
a
need to
sense
lead
of-
with
yeah.
that? Let's hear
do.
about the value that you do.
Actions, fruits.
So with the naked process, then, in terms of getting metaphorically speaking, in terms of getting naked, not literally for anyone that's watching.
Do it literally as
But
well.
Yeah, do it. Yeah, get
I
naked,
saw
do-
one time I was
stand
in
up
Black
front of the
Friars.
mirror.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they got actually like a national nude day, and you'll see people riding around Black Friars and just naked.
naked.
Serious?
Yeah, I've seen
Yeah.
it. I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Bro,
And I had to rate them.
That must
These,
be
these
an
are old
assault.
people. Like these are
You
like
gonna
people
try
in their
Marvin
40s and
one day.
50s.
Where
Huh?
is it?
Are you gonna try?
don't
it?
bother. You don't need to know.
I
It's
know,
not.
where is it? I need
It's
to
not
know.
in your
I
faith,
missed
man.
that.
You don't need
I
to
saw
see
it
naked
in
people.
I saw it in Black Friars, but if you
Flies.
Black Friars.
Yeah, Black Friars.
I
area
see it in
London.
Brixton
Yeah.
all the time.
I know.
Croydon.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So they probably do it around different parts,
Yeah.
but it's like a national nude day,
Mm.
and I respected them for it, man.
Yeah, no, for real.
You know?
The human body is beautiful.
Of course.
Even if it's not beautiful, I just like the fact
It's
that
still
But-
beautiful.
So can people? I guess.
Yeah.
Do you coach in this? Like,
Do
because
I
obviously
coach?
I know we've been talking
Yeah.
very much
Yeah.
around this concept around
Naked.
getting naked. But is this what you essentially specialize in terms of?
Not at this point in time.
Okay.
So I just focus on my SEO thing. I was saying to Yasmin
Okay.
before that, and we was talking about readiness and stuff like that.
Okay.
For me, they don't feel the right thing to be out there doing that.
So you're not ready to be naked.
No, I'm ready to do my own thing. I'm not ready to then start talking to other people about it.
Okay.
Well, not about it. If I'm talking about my own thing, that's
Yeah,
different.
different.
I'm not out there saying that you should be doing this and you should be doing that, because ultimately maybe you shouldn't be doing that. I don't know what you're dealing with internally. But what I would say is I do believe that all the problems that we have with relationships, all the problems we have in our families, all the problems we have by choosing wrong jobs and careers, it stems from not being honest with yourself, not
Okay.
making decisions based on what is true for you. Yeah, and part of that is because you
Largely
have
taken up by
yeah,
other people.
you have been
Yeah.
deceived.
Yeah.
We have been
Yeah.
deceived, and also you are also deceiving yourself. If you accept that reality that you are good at deceiving yourself, you become to see ways that actually I took that job for the money, and really and truly it was a dumb move. And now
Okay. So
I
you're being
realize
honest, yeah.
you're being honest, and now that you're honest, they say the truth sets you free, and bit by bit you free yourself
Yeah.
to
True.
then actually make choices that empower you,
Okay.
as opposed to ones that are, like you said, we operate within a social construct.
Yeah.
And so that seems like the right choice to do because society says we should do it.
Okay.
Wow.
I hear that. Wow. So dropping some gems.
Some gems.
This
No,
has been
there's never enough
Swagalous Marv.
There's never enough time.
There's
Seriously,
never enough
we've
time.
run out of time already.
We've run out of time. But what we always like to do
do.
is are we in sync? Look at all
We're in
Skinny
sync.
Tina.
No,
Oh, this is happy.
Because you're
We're
the
in
red,
sync,
because
like,
you're
we're in
the
sync,
red,
we're
the
in
red
sync,
thing guy.
we're
No,
in
red
sync.
ready.
She try and
We're in
follow me.
sync,
She's
man.
like, what are you gonna wear? What am I
Yeah,
gonna wear?
right, I don't think it was
His
that
and
deep.
hers, his and hers.
Yeah, a little
But it
something.
wasn't that deep.
Anyway,
honestly.
but
I like it though.
We have a
What?
matching colours for the following.
For who?
So-
yeah, we will. Stop trying, shut up. Anyway, I don't know why you all try to. You see what you bring, you come copy me.
Marvin, who
Anyway.
would you recommend, or who would you invite onto the show? Who would you suggest that we have on?
Yeah, someone who's living their
Yeah.
hair, they're breathing. It's realistic as well. You could actually get them here to sit where you are. Someone who you know that you can make a
Yeah.
intro.
I have to think about it. What? Probably a friend I was telling you about before. One of my friends, Daniel.
What
Okay.
does he do? Who is Daniel?
Daniel's a business guy as well. He runs his own play service. Runs his own play service and stuff. But very, very informed guy.
Okay.
Used to be a teacher, so a man after your own heart.
Cool,
in
yeah.
education and stuff. So there's him. There's probably a few. I can't
Okay.
I think, there's a
Daniel's
few.
good. Daniel sounds good.
That's good.
Daniel's
So we
good.
can hook it up. We can
Daniel
hook
Never
it
had a
up.
Daniel, by the way.
Huh?
Pardon?
Never had a Daniel.
We never
Have
had
you
a
never had a
Daniel.
Daniel?
We've
So
never
you're
had a
looking for a
Daniel.
I think you should run a
Daniel, we
competition
need
like
you
that.
in the
I think you should-
lounge.
I think you should run a. I remember when I was a. You should run a competition like that. We gotta have someone with at least a letter of every alphabet.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, deep work for,
Okay,
I
that's
guess,
good.
yeah, wow. That's
Yes.
would be
I used
somewhat
to have
of a
that kind
challenge.
of goal when I was
I
a
like
kid.
Yeah,
that, I
we
like
should
that.
try
date
that.
to date a woman. With
We're stuck
every
on M at
letter.
the moment.
M's a good
Which
bidding
is
because
cool.
M is like number 13 letter.
Yeah.
Right,
So
Okay,
it's not too
okay,
bad.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
you need to get the other one.
Perfections. You
But
got
this
a
has
Y
been-
here though. You got a Y.
Innit, watch her. Anyway.
One day I'll be on your side.
Yeah.
Definitely. But yeah, man, thank you for your time. Thank you for coming
Thank
on.
you for having
It's
me.
always a
Yes.
pleasure to have you in the lounge. You know, obviously, we're going to see you come back again.
Yes.
And this has been the Demics.
Yes, and for those that are
Academics.
watching, please hit that subscribe
Yeah,
button.
subscribe.
Yep, and
And
yeah.
the notification bell.
And
Yeah,
the
make sure you do it.
likes.
Yeah, Academics.